Emilia Clarke was born on October 23, 1986, in London, England, and grew up in the countryside of Oxfordshire. From her earliest years, she carried a spark of energy, an enthusiasm for storytelling, and an ability to captivate people around her that would eventually blossom into one of the most celebrated acting careers of her generation. Her father, who worked as a theatre sound engineer, and her mother, who held a business executive role, provided a household where art and discipline coexisted. The influence of theatre was unavoidable in her home because her father spent long hours immersed in plays and productions, and Emilia, even as a little girl, would often accompany him backstage. This exposure ignited a fascination in her that would guide the rest of her life. Seeing the behind-the-scenes world of plays, observing actors rehearse, and feeling the power of live storytelling planted the dream of performance deep in her heart. She has recalled that at the age of 3, when she watched a production of the musical show Boat at her father's workplace, she was utterly transfixed and told her parents she wanted to be an actress. Her childhood was a mixture of ordinary and extraordinary. She went to Rye St. Anthony's School and later St. Edward's School, both private schools in Oxford. Although she wasn't from a family of actors or film stars, her parents supported her ambition, even though at times they worried about the challenges of such an uncertain profession. At school, Emilia was known not only for her intelligence but also for her humor and ability to make others laugh. She was small in stature, but her energy, creativity, and charisma more than compensated. She participated in school plays and talent shows, often drawing notice from teachers for her ability to slip into characters with ease. Even at that young age, she was showing signs of her versatility. One moment performing a dramatic scene, and the next creating comedy out of everyday life. However, her path was not without challenges. Though she loved acting, her parents insisted that she have a serious education, so she pursued her studies diligently. Yet her heart was always on the stage. At 17, after completing her secondary education, she auditioned for several drama schools. Some rejections came her way, which bruised her confidence but also toughened her resolve. She did not immediately gain entry into the most prestigious academies, which was a sobering reminder that talent alone would not guarantee success. She worked briefly at odd jobs to support herself and even traveled, trying to balance practicality with her dream. Eventually, her persistence paid off when she was accepted into the Drama Centre London, one of the most respected training grounds for actors. The Drama Centre had a reputation for producing outstanding talent, with alumni such as Tom Hardy, Colin Firth, and Michael Fassbender. It was an intensive program, demanding full commitment, and Emilia threw herself. As Emilia Clarke settled into her role on Game of Thrones, her life became a whirlwind of opportunities, challenges, and global recognition. By the time the second and third seasons were released, she had transformed from a little-known British actress into an international sensation. The character of Daenerys Targaryen was no longer simply a role, she had become a cultural phenomenon. Fans across the world were captivated by her journey, from a frightened young girl with no power to a commanding leader determined to reclaim her throne. Emilia portrayed the evolution with extraordinary precision, balancing Daenerys's vulnerability and humanity with her emerging strength and unyielding ambition. Each season, viewers watched Daenerys grow in confidence and influence, and Emilia's own career followed the same trajectory. The production of Game of Thrones was an enormous endeavor. Filming took place across multiple countries, including Northern Ireland, Spain, Croatia, and Morocco, with elaborate sets and grueling schedules. For Emilia, the role required learning new languages for her character's speeches, handling intense physical training, and spending long months away from home. Yet she embraced the demands with energy, recognizing the rare privilege of being part of such a monumental series. Her dedication was visible in every frame, whether she was delivering a passionate monologue in the fictional Dothraki tongue or commanding armies of extras in vast battle scenes, Emilia poured herself into the performance. As her character rose to power, Emilia herself was thrust into the highest levels of celebrity. She began appearing on magazine covers, walking red carpets, and sitting for interviews with major media outlets. Photographers were drawn to her expressive eyes, bright smile, and approachable charm. Unlike many celebrities who cultivate mystery or distance, Emilia was known for her warmth and playfulness during interviews. She laughed easily, told funny anecdotes about her experiences on set, and remained refreshingly down-to-earth despite the attention. Fans adored her off-screen personality as much as they admired her on-screen talent. With global fame came new opportunities in film. Casting directors who once might not have considered her were now eager to work with the actress who had become synonymous with strength, charisma, and depth. In 2013, she starred in Dom Hemingway, a British black comedy crime film alongside Jude Law. Though her role was not as central as in her television work, it gave her the chance to showcase her versatility and to explore darker, edgier material. The film received mixed reviews, but critics noted Emilia's presence as one of the bright spots. In 2015, Emilia took on a role that demonstrated both her ambition and her willingness to take risks. She was cast as Sarah Connor in Terminator Genisys, a reboot of the iconic science fiction franchise. This was a high-profile project, pairing her with Arnold Schwarzenegger. When Game of Thrones concluded in 2019, Emilia Clarke faced both a tremendous opportunity and a daunting challenge. For nearly a decade, she had been defined by Daenerys Targaryen, one of the most iconic characters in television history. The end of the series meant she could finally explore new roles, but it also carried the risk of being typecast. Fans and critics alike wondered what direction her career would take, and Emilia herself acknowledged feeling both liberated and uncertain. Her first steps after Westeros showed her determination to broaden her horizons. In 2019, she starred in Last Christmas, a romantic comedy inspired by the music of George Michael and Wham. The film, directed by Paul Feig, cast Emilia as Kate, a struggling young woman navigating personal hardships and finding love during the holiday season. Emilia brought her signature warmth and humor to the role, delivering both comedic charm and emotional vulnerability. The film received mixed reviews from critics, with some calling it predictable, but audiences embraced it as a heartwarming seasonal story. Importantly, it allowed Emilia to showcase her comedic timing and natural charisma in a modern, light-hearted setting, far removed from dragons and medieval battles. Around the same time, she began to speak more publicly about her personal experiences. For years she had kept her medical struggles secret, but with the launch of her charity SameYou, she revealed the details of the 2 brain aneurysms she had survived during her time on Game of Thrones. In her essay for The New Yorker, she described the pain, fear, and recovery process in vivid detail, touching readers around the world. Fans who had admired her as Daenerys now saw a deeper side of her, a woman who had battled real-life adversity with courage and determination. The honesty of her story, combined with her decision to use her platform for advocacy, elevated her beyond celebrity. She became a voice for resilience and hope, and her charity began working to improve neurorehabilitation for brain injury survivors, funding research and raising awareness globally. In 2020, Emilia continued to expand her work in film and television, though the global pandemic temporarily slowed Hollywood's output. She used the time to focus on charity efforts, connecting virtually with fans, supporting fundraising campaigns, and spreading messages of kindness and strength during a difficult year for many. She also became more active on social media, sharing glimpses of her everyday life. Fans appreciated her candidness, whether she was posting about her dog, her cooking experiments, or simply humorous reflections. Unlike many celebrities, she did not attempt to curate an untouchable image. Instead, she leaned into authenticity, which only strengthened her connection with her audience. Her post-Game of Thrones career began to take more shape with exciting new projects. Emilia signed on to star in The Pod Generation, a sci-fi romantic com.